Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in after a blowout series between GTC Bulls and Infusion Gaming Esports. We're back with something a little bit more palatable. Let's call it that. We have the Canyons versus Los Hombres de PACO. And if you just joined us, my name is Jose C. Silva, and I'm still joined by Max Formal Von Neumann to bring you all the action in and outs of the Rocket League pitches.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're calling this one palatable. I'm calling this like the main course, really, almost for the weekend. Canyons versus Los Hombres de Paco. This is, two of our tournament favorites about to throw down. I mean, last week we did say Los Hombres de Paco take on Super Mode. They did fall a bit short. Canyons, they're still sitting undefeated, but just because Los Hombres did drop a game, that doesn't make them any less deadly. They're still one of the top three teams in my eyes on paper in this tournament right now. And if Super Mode continue to not really show us that edge, why they're that number one team, well, they might find themselves behind in this showdown.
And we'll have to wait and see because the players are ready to go into the game. This is still a best of 5 series. It's 0-0. And let's see what Los Hombres de Paco bring up against the Canyon favorites. Roll the pros stinger because we're ready to go into the game. And ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 is ready to roll. The Kenyans are going to be on the blue cards and Los Hombres de Paco on the orange card, or the orange-hued cards. The ball is kicked off and it's Los Hombres de Paco starting to strike on the offensive.
Yeah, and something I'm already noticing straight away from the Los Hombres de Paco side is we're not seeing Kier Monster. Instead, we're seeing By Metios, and this is actually pretty huge. I'm not sure if he's changed his name or if that's a substitute.
No,
I'm sorry if I'm
sub.
behind
It is a
on
sub.
it. It is a sub. Okay, so that's very interesting because in the past Los Hombres de Paco, in particular, Kier Monster, he's been always so good at sort of cheating up the pitch and finding unique angles coming from the opponent's side, able to take shots. He's been that one who had been doing that as we were talking like in between the breaks. He's no longer there. And I was projecting, like in my prediction, Canyons are actually going to punish that by sort of stealing away those tight passes because they'll be able to read those plays. Well, if he's not there, that kind of means that Los Hombres de Paco, they're going to actually change their strategy in this one, and we're going to see a very different Los Hombres, but what we're seeing right now is that same consistent Canyons, as By Mantos actually does go for a solo play, and he's the one who will break that offensive line.
All right, let's work on his name in a second, but right now he seems to be doing a good job. By Mateos. Say it with me, Mateos.
Mateos.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. By Mateos still has some big shoes to fill in Los Hombres de Paco's squad as Stake cutting him off. He seems to be playing very, very grounded.
Yeah, it's been a grounded game. Oh,
what? No!
Nachito. You've got to make those shots. I mean, that's a very unfortunate miss. That said, the pressure still is there. Stake doing what he can in the box. Actually will be able to clear it to the corner, and Zamue should be able to push it through. Just needs to get one more touch, maybe push it towards the goal. Try to get the flick, but one's unable to execute it. 50-50 does go in Tox's favor right now. He's going to try and recover across the wall. Misses on his touch, so it turns into a pass to Demensa. Has the boost for one more touch. Is going to try to get the pinch, but a good read off the backboard means a strong clear from the Canyons.
Tox saves it off as well. Tries to bounce it off the backboard to Mensa. Collects the boost, denies it off of Tox, and Cheeto's running on one boost point. Let's see if he can do something about it. He's desperately looking for some to run the defense because Zamue is coming in, and he's coming in fast. And Cheeto clears out the ball. Tox on the defense. Stake cuts it off midair. Zamue just misses it, waits for the rebound. In the midfield, you have Tox already bouncing off the backboard. Mateos on the wall, clears it over to Zamue. Stake is there to stop the ball and keep it on the offense. Good pressure being applied, but look at Tox having to run defense as Mateos is trying to bump people off of the defense from the Canyon side.
This is interesting because I am already starting to see Los Hombres de Paco actually approach this game a bit differently. In the past, when on defense, they've been looking for the clears for these deep passes, again, to Kier Monster, who will have cheated down the pitch. However, without Kier Monster, there's been no one actually down deep, so it's actually been By Mateos going for solo plays, and he's been the one sort of instigating these clears, unless Nachito had been getting some sort of sneaky intercepts or dunks. My point is, it's actually resorting more towards solo plays than it is towards these deep pass plays, and they've been doing it to some success. The Canyons as a whole have been on attack far more than they've been on defense at this stage, but I find it very interesting to see Los Hombres de Paco change their game style and how they've been able to do it.
Yeah, the ball's been on this offense a lot stronger on the Canyon side than what it has been on Los Hombres de Paco, even though they've been kind of on the offense. They can never really break through that second line of defense that the Canyons managed to establish, while the Canyons are always either on the backboard or just on top of the box.
Yeah, and that was just such a hard goal to defend right there. By Mateos had the right idea trying to pre-jump it, but he expected the shot to go low. It went high. Great control right there by Steak, I believe, who took that shot and banged that one in. That was a fantastic setup and goal coming from the Canyons right now, who are continuing to put that offensive pressure down right now. Talks trying to dribble it on through. It looked like Steak was actually trying to cheat up and maybe get a bit more of a bang, but as a result, an offensive rotation breakdown, and now we get to see Los Hombres de PACOs on the attack.
The Mensa manages to clear the ball into the backboard, and Chito gets it in the zone, but doesn't quite have anyone there with him to follow up on the play. Now Tox tries to set up the ball. The Mensa struggles with his teammate to get the ball cleared out. Steak is already in in this case, trying to recollect the ball, try to get it on an offensive position. Zamue and Tox try to set up a play. You have Zamue going in, but he just misses the ball, but the second hit goes in, and Steak collects the goal.
You can't go for passes in your own box that slowly. By Mateos needed to hit that ball a lot harder. Zamue was able to cheat forward, get the intercept, turn it into a pass off of that crossbar, and Steak able to punch it through for his second goal of this game. Fantastic start for the Canyons right now. They're feeling very confident. They're feeling very much in control, and pressure being put on Los Hombres de PACO.
A lot of pressure being put on Los Hombres de PACO. Let's see how they manage to, or if they manage to come back into this one. Because once again, the offensive lines actually of the Canyons has been a lot more deeper than that of the Los Hombres de PACO. Zamue, nearly pulling back. Steak cuts it off. It's Tox in the air. Rules it out. Tries to bring open a space for Steak to jump it in, but doesn't quite manage to spike it.
Yeah, if Tox had been able to get that bump onto Demensa, that would have been a very, very clean goal. As it stands right now, 17 seconds remaining. Canyons in complete control of this first game, and it's going to be up for Los Hombres de PACO to find a way to get more sustained offensive attacks. That's where they've been liking, and this actually might be another goal. Not quite Zamue. Can't get the angle. Overall, though, that just would have been icing on the cake. Tox will go ahead and bang it on through, so we do see our 3-0 score line, as it looked as if members from Los Hombres, they all were starting to push forward, all starting to kind of go for that power play. And as power plays tend to go in the Iberian League, they get punished.
They absolutely do. 2 seconds left on the clock, but this game number 1 is going in favor of the Canyons. Great start here from Los Hombres de PACO, but unfortunately they haven't really found the formula on how to play with By Mateos just yet. So game 1 is... Oh, okay! All right, the honor goal, it's there.
Was that an own goal?
No.
Steak just punched that in his own goal. I'm pretty sure that was Steak. Yeah, that was Steak.
All right, well.
That was an own goal. Look, every series has to have one today. That's the rule. Every series needs to have one. That's what we're playing today. This is the first time we've seen the team with the own goal actually get the win. So congrats to the Canyons for that. But yeah,
I like the post-game accolades. Steak had an aerial goal and a traitor.
Yeah, man. He wanted his hat trick.
He got his hat trick. Congratulations. He got 2 goals and 1 own goal. That's a hat trick in my book. He was also the MVP. He scored most of his team's goals and all of the enemy team's goals.
Yeah, absolutely. MVP for both teams, really. That said, moving forward in this one for Los Hombres de PACO, not that start they were looking for. Again, is that not that normal aggressive Los Hombres de PACO that we were used to seeing in week 1, unable to really cheat down the pitch, unable to get those big booming deep passes. And that comes from 2 things. One, the sub coming in by Mateos, unfortunately, not really feeling as aggressive as Kier Monster would be in the past. And the other thing, the Canyons have been doing such a good job in sort of playing, I'd say, mid to upper third in where they're looking to cover some of the solo plays, that really, even if Los Hombres were to be going for those deeper passes, the Canyons would be in position to intercept it. And as a result, Los Hombres, they're trying to rely more on the solo plays. They're trying to flick it over the top, and they had some success, but nothing consistent. And that's why they're behind in this series right now by 1 game.
Let's see if they can fix up their game style for game number 2, because, well, the Canyons, they seem to be pretty solidly just existing in the status quo of the series. I mean, Zamue in particular, very, very good on the offense. You don't really see him that much on the defensive lines because Steak has been cutting off balls so well.
Yeah, Steak has been doing fantastic. He's almost been, you know, the standout performer, I feel like, at this stage. Obviously, you know, when you get an unofficial hat trick, you are kind of that player to watch. But Tox as well has been doing a good job playing disruption a lot of the times. He's been the one getting the bumps. He's been the one with a lot of the setup passes. And at times, he's also been the one getting clears as he attempts right here. But it will be cut off by Dementia. Nachito as well, able to get the demo. But it's Zamue over the top, able to bounce that one in. Great read off of the clear attempt. Zamue, that was one of the best solo plays we've seen this tournament.
Wow, it was an amazing defense by Mateos, but Zamue already was airborne off the ceiling, spikes it into the goal. Nobody to rebound or to defend that rebound. Jesus Christ, I cannot speak today. And so opening up the score like that for the Kenyans on game 2.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to add to it. Opening for Tox, but he's unable to connect on the shot. Good save by Nachito. Zamue looking to clear it into the box as well, but again, enough defenders there at the moment. And I do have to admit, Los Hombres de PACO, okay, yeah, it's going to sound a little poor in saying this, or I'm saying their defense actually looks better than it has last week, but that happens to be the case because they're a bit more passive. Their defense has been a lot more consistent. They've been coming up with more clutch saves and actually have been, you know, getting better touches. However, it's just been consistent Canyons attacks that's have them on that back foot. I like this defense from them, but I'm not liking the counterattack. It's sort of like the give and take, almost like a slider, if you will. And that slider is a bit more on the defense side right now.
Look at this. Sake comes in full speed from the offense, immediately clears the ball, gets a huge bounce off the back wall, and manages to get the ball back on the offense for the Canyons. And this has been the game for the blue team. Keeping Los Hombres de PACO on the defense, giving them no opportunities to really take a breather here, and maintain them on their half of the map.
Yeah, that is the case at this stage, as Tox is going to go ahead and actually try and go for that solo flick play. Can't quite get it to a teammate, as Dementia was able to catch it in this stage. And we are starting to see more Los Hombres de PACO on the blue side right now, but it's always so quick. And that's something the Canyons have been good at throughout the entirety of this tournament. It's just very, very good defensive touches to sort of turn the play around and get back on offense. I mean, that's really what good defense is. It's not making those heroic saves. It's getting the ball back to the other side of the pitch as fast and with as little touches as possible. And that's where the Canyons have excelled this entire tournament thus far.
Nachito, you could have went for the solo play there, but it was out of boost for the follow-up boost play. Now, once again, the Canyons back on the offense, ball on the backboard. Sake is airborne, setting up the play for Zamue. Just spikes it in, clean as a whistle.
Yeah, I'm going to want to watch this replay again. It was a double commit into the corner, and Nachito, unfortunately, could not beat out Stake, who kept the ball high. Zamue, all the time in the world to just knock that one straight in. It was the double commit, really, that sort of let Los Hombres de PACO down. And I love seeing goals like that because in week number 1, that was sort of like Los Hombres de PACO's wheelhouse. They like to score from above that net, and this time it happened against them. And, you know, a little bit of karmic justice, I suppose, for week 1. But either way, Los Hombres, they're in a lot of trouble in this series because they haven't really scored a proper goal yet.
No, and once again, I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to feel like I didn't want to feel like I was repeating myself, but I do see a lot of the issues that I saw in game number 1 between William Bots and EC4, where I just don't see enough bumps or demos from the side of Los Hombres de PACO. They're just allowing Kenyans to do whatever they want to do. There's no backline disruption at all.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with you on this one, Canyons. But this has been a reoccurring theme with the Canyons. They always seem to find the space, and it's not necessarily because other teams aren't willing to go up and challenge them. It's just how fast the Canyons can be. Oh, Zamue can't get the right read, and that will be the first proper goal for Los Hombres de PACO.
And what a goal it was. Look at this. Dementa is just bouncing up the ball, tosses it over Tox. By Mateos, goes in to try to confuse, maybe hint for a pass, but Dementa, I mean, he just doesn't have to pass, he just needs to bounce the ball underneath the defending Tox and just shove it into the goal. 2-1, it's still a lead for the Canyons, but it's a very, very fragile lead.
Yeah, I mean, 1 goal difference. Anything can happen in Rocket League. Goals happen at the snap of a finger sometimes. So Los Hombres definitely back in this game. Ooh, scary situation right there for Demenza. Fortunately, he does hit the backboard, and that actually mounts a counterattack, but by Mateos doesn't get a clean read on the ball. It slows the pace down, and that gives time for the Canyons to recover. Now here comes that quick Canyon counterattack. It's what they're known for. Good save made. I believe that was by Mateos, but the second shot is on the money, and once again, a 2-goal lead for the Canyons.
And how did this counter-attack start? You had Los Hombres de Paco on a full-blown offense, and all of a sudden they lost that offensive prowess. Why? Because you had Demensa getting demoed in the midfield. They lost the midfield pressure, they were forced to pull back, and this just gave an open pitch for the Canyons to just steamroll into the Los Hombres de Paco's goal. Demensa comes in for the demo, but I think it's a little bit too late now.
Yeah, it could be a bit too little too late in this game, especially if that shot was able to hit the back of the net. However, by Mateos, able to make that save, space given, but see, these are those little errors that the Canyons get punished on. Against other teams, that ball is going to land right back into by Mateos' lap, but because he puts it just a little bit too high, the Canyons are going to jump on you. They're going to turn it back into their own offensive pressure. Just no mercy given by this blue side.
Could also be the fact that by Mateos is a sub for the team, and he's not really on the same, or the team isn't really on the same page as by Mateos.
You know what, you can say that. Maybe that's the case. However, I feel like, when it's the sub, and by Mateos as well, I saw his tag, RLCS analyst.
Yeah.
He knows the game. He knows what goes on, and he should know what to do. And he should know, seeing, members of the Canyons bump into each other usually means attack and attack fast, but Demensa too busy hop, skipping, and jumping around with the ball does mean the Canyons will finish with that 3-1 lead. And, can I just quickly say right now, I've done it in RLCS finals, right? I did the RLCS OCE finals. I don't have no fancy tag like that. I'm gonna have to
were you an analyst? You were not an analyst. You don't.
No, I was a caster. All right?
Exactly, but you weren't an analyst.
True. Either way, though, angry emails. They're coming. I hope you're ready, Psionics. They're coming.
Take a print screen like, you see this? I want this, Psionics. Give me this. No, but you're absolutely right. I wouldn't be joking. I mean, if I did an RLCS,
the email's being written right now. Like, the print screen's done. It's underway. This is happening. Back to the game at hand, though. Canyons, another dominating performance. In fact, same scoreline that we saw in game number 1. But this time it's Nemue with the 2 goals as opposed to Steak.
Now, one thing that I am feeling about Los Hombres de Paco is that they feel very meek on their counterattacks. They have some aggression when you see them bounce the balls into the corners, but most of the times you see them roll back into a defensive position a lot faster than what they try to set up a counterattack. They're very afraid to get these goals scored against them. More afraid than what? Huh?
Yeah, I think it's just a case again of how fast the Canyons are at times at just sort of punishing even the smallest mistake. We saw that towards the end of that game where by Mateos was dribbling the ball. He actually bumps it a little bit too high, and boom, Canyons are on him with the snap of the fingers. They're just going to come screaming down and steal it. And essentially what that's telling me is unless the ball is firmly in their grasp, the Canyons are going to go for that intercept, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to make it. They're going to punish you, and they're going to score that goal. So knowing that, you have to change your play style. It's why they're playing so tight when trying to clear the ball down the pitch. It's why the ball is always right near that car, and they're also very close to each other because they're completely aware that they're probably going to get challenged. That challenge is most likely going to be good. We're going to have to be the next car to get to the ball when that possession is lost. And that's sort of the approach that Los Hombres de Paco is trying to take to moderate success. It's worked for them sometimes, but the Canyons are that fast. At other times, they're still going to beat them. They're still going to get that second touch. And really, it's the safer way to play the game. But you're 2 games down right now. It's time to stop playing safe. Maybe go for some more of those long pitch pass plays.
Maybe. We have to wait and see because it's game number 3 on the board. Match point for the Canyons. Like you said, Los Hombres de Paco can still believe in the reverse sweep. But the Canyons just seem to be outclassing them in every sense of the word. Now, on the offense, on the defense, Canyons are just a lot more fast paced as far as the teams in the Iberian League go. But Los Hombres de Paco can still make a case for themselves. We're ready to go into game number 3. Could be a clean sweep for the Canyons, but surely Los Hombres de Paco, with their RLCS analysts, will have something to say for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you have RLCS analysts, you have RLCS players on the team. The skill is there for this team. They can easily make that reverse sweep. If there was any team that was going to be able to do it, Today, at least, my money would be on them unless by some crazy situation, Super Mode find themselves down 2-0. Maybe I'd bet a bit more on them to get that reverse sweep against for the win. But as it stands, I do believe that it is still in the cards. If we get to see Los Hombres de Paco play like they did in week one, that fast style, those deep passes, attacking from above the goal, odd angles, you never know where they're going to come from. I like by Mateos, he has to turn into Kier Monster, essentially. If he can turn into Kier Monster, I think they have a proper chance. And sometimes you just got to change your playstyle. You got to take those risks, and I'm hoping to see it come from the Soren
I don't
side.
know. I'm not disliking what Mateos is doing. He's putting up a good defense, but he just needs to get the rebound, or he just needs to get the counter plays and rebounds a little bit faster because the teams are ready now. Third
Yep.
game, no more playing around here for Los Hombres de Paco because they're on an knife's edge. The kickoff is on, and the ball is already airborne by Mateos. Gets a nice kick on, and here we go. Goes on the offense, gets the ball in, sets it up, and what a clean goal by Demensa.
And there we go. Fast play, and it was actually a solo play, so it wasn't how I thought it was going to happen. Talks actually waited a little too late on the ghosting defense to try and disrupt the play, and Demensa takes advantage of that, throws it to the middle of the pitch while he has that window, and lucky for him, a teammate is there. A quick goal for Los Hombres de Paco, and the first time they've had a lead this series.
Well, could be a good sign, because we just saw what Mateos can actually do on the offense. Can he actually keep it up, though? Is my question. He's airborne again. Okay, a lot more aggressive. The Mensa just crashed into him airborne. Pretty sure that's not what they intended to do. They're back on the defensive time around. I think the Cannons were caught off guard because they seem to be playing a little bit more reserved in this third game.
No, it's the similar positioning that we've seen from them from the first two, but it's more aggressive positioning that we're seeing out of Los Hombres de Paco. In the past couple games, they'd only kind of be sending one person, but now they are sending a second, either with the intention of collecting a tight pass or getting that bump, and that's actually what's been enabling sort of plays like that, where they're getting stakes, kind of stuck in no man's land, unable to make those sort of mid-pitch reads that they were before. However, this will open the door to more Canyon counterattacks, and that's kind of been their wheelhouse in the first week, and as you see right here, when they get that little opening, they're going to take it. Once again, we are tied.
Yep, and once again, it was just Los Hombres de Paco not being able to clear the ball fast enough. The Chito got bumped out. That was actually a very, very clutch bump there by, I believe it was Zamue, which just allowed Tox to fly in and get the free goal for the Canyons. Tying up the score right now. We got a demo. A lot more aggression in game number 3, like we said, but Mateos gets bumped out of the air. The Cheetah clears the ball, tries to get it into an offensive positioning, but they still need to clear it out from Tox.
Oh, by Mateos kind of stuck on the crossbar right there. Very lucky that didn't turn into a goal, but the good job by the other members of Los Hombres to sort of stop the attack, at least momentarily. By Mateos gets bumped off of making that shot, but the ball still in a dangerous spot. Stake will be able to rotate around and get that clear. Zamue looking for that big pass to Stake, but it's intercepted by Nachito, who throws it to Demensa. Bass back down to the third man. That's by Mateos, and that shot is good. Los Hombres de Pacos, they're playing like a team.
This is great. This is what I wanted to see from Los Hombres de Paco. That was a menacing shot, 125 kilometers per hour. Give me some more of that. Very fast gameplay, very fast ball strikes. Perfect accuracy, really, from Los Hombres de Paco. And it seems that they have awakened something that was dormant in the previous 2 games.
Again, it's this change of approach when on the attack. They're sending multiple members down the pitch at the same time, as opposed to going for like that one-person solo play with kind of tight rotations immediately behind them. And it's paying off in dividends right now. The defense from the Canyons at times do look confused. That was a very ambitious play. Not quite going to come through as players ramming into each other, going for that pinch setup. Fortunately for Los Hombres, they're not going to get punished just yet. Stake still trying to find that clearing line, but Dementia playing so far forward. However, that meatball pass across the pitch will get intercepted by Zamue, and here comes the Canyons. Not quite. He went for the bump, not for the ball. Talk's going to try and pass it back to Stake, but by Mateos puts a great touch on it, and Dementia can't quite read that pass, so a little bit of ping pong ball happening right now, but we are seeing those bumps starting to come through as well.
Yes, we are. It's a matter of who is going to give it out first, who is going to mismanage the boost first and allow the other team to gain an unnecessary advantage right now. Los Hombres de Paco just need to keep up this play style as by Mateos gets another demo, so it's now a 2v3, a 1v3 scenario in this case. They're respawning right now. Ooh, great shot, great spiking by the Mensa. Doesn't quite find the opening to get the ball in the box. But Cheeto with a huge save as well.
Yeah, Nachito, that was a big save, but it's always the second shot that's scary. Fortunately for Los Hombres de PACO, the rest of the defense is able to recover and sort of shut that down before it can happen. However, you can see cars just racing up and down the pitch. Stake actually staying on the orange side there to try to set up his team, but it's a wonderful bump by Nachito to get Tox off of that shot. And we are seeing very much, you know, down the pitch play lines right now. Everyone's thinking one play ahead and actually also thinking defensively one play ahead as well. And that's why we're seeing these bumps on the opposite end of the pitch. It's what's stopping a lot of these plays that are trying to be set up from coming to fruition. Big mind games happening at the moment. And it actually still feels like Los Hombres de Pacos are a step ahead.
It does. You can't just still trying to find their ground. 1 minute left, 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the timer here. The Canyon's struggling, but they find a demo on the Mensa. Ready to respawn. Samuel gets down to Cheeto. The offense seems good. They're getting nice bumps. They're getting nice demos. Can they get the airborne play going? Cheeto's already on the defense, but he manages to save it.
Tox was going for that flip reset right there. He had to go for it because Stake was stuck in no man's land. Yes, he got that touch, but again, the kind of cheekiness forward, like Canyons are playing further and further forward, and as a result, they're getting weaker touches. Maybe if they're a little far back, they can get more bang, but it comes at the expense of giving Los Hombres more space to work with, and we've already seen giving Los Hombres space, not a good idea. The Canyons definitely on the back foot. They're just trying to find that right approach, and they haven't quite found it yet in this game.
It doesn't feel like the 3-0 might be a possibility here as Los Hombres de PACO. They changed what they needed to change, and that's Zamuate now on the counter offense. And Cheeto already defending the ball, cuts it off in the midfield, but Stake immediately on the rebound, claims it back for the side of the Canyons. And Cheeto comes in from behind, wants to maintain this lead. 2-1 could be enough to take this series to game number 4. The Mensa keeps the ball on the offense. Tox still gets an airborne touch. It's 0 seconds on the clock. Who will we see in overtime? But I don't think we will be seeing in overtime. The Mensa keeps the ball rolling. Rule 1 of Rocket League. Don't let the ball fall to the ground, but Tox allows it to happen.
They ran into themselves, and that's how game 3 will come to the end. A little bit of a oopsie play for the Canyons at the very end right there, but Los Hombres de PACO, talk about a turnaround performance and talk about a turnaround in their strategy when approaching this game.
Look at the shots. Every player on the Los Hombres de PACO got 4 shots on the goal, while the Canyons managed to get 3 shots divided amongst them.
Exactly, and like it came from the situation of they started sending multiple members down the pitch at once instead of, again, keeping those tight sort of plays. Now we're just going to throw everything down there. We're still going to go for our tight passes. And Canyons, before we were afraid you were going to make the play against us, well, now we're going to challenge you to make that play against us. And yes, a lot of the time the Canyons were able to, especially more towards the end of the game, the Los Hombres offense did start to slow down a bit, but the damage was already done and they already had that lead and they were able to hold on to it. The Canyons, they were struggling to find sort of answers to how tight Los Hombres were playing. They never really found that sort of key. They started to cheat forward and they were getting more touches, but the touches really weren't powerful enough because they were using so much boost just to get to the ball and get that height. A fantastic performance, a fantastic turnaround. The pressure right back onto this Canyon side right now. Will they be able to bounce it back?
And what I like the most, what I like to see the most what I like to see the most about this game was the fact that By Mateos actually felt like a fulcral piece in the success of Los Hombres de PACO.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of Mateos in game number 4 because we are ready to go. The Canyons still on the blue, Los Hombres de PACO on the orange. Kick off, and the ball is on the side of the Canyons.
And actually, what I'm hoping to see from the Canyons, if they're going to look to take this game number 4, is matching that aggression and situations just like this. Canyons throwing everyone down the pitch right now, looking for bumps, looking for good touches. You can see Stake getting the demo in the goal is what sets up that shot from Zebue. It's not the hardest shot, but again, the goalkeeper's already blown to smithereens. There's bits of him everywhere, so no one's going to touch that ball rolling into the net. 1-0 for the Canyons.
Let's see if the Canyons can do it again because this is a very aggressive start from the blue team. Tox is airborne and gets denied, but then Cheeto Demens is already there as well on the defense. They're waiting for Zamway to take a shot. He takes it, but it's going to be Stake with a huge airborne shot. Watch
Tox. Watch Tox. Look at Tox just holding all of them back. It's like, you know, the lone knight with the door and the horde behind him, just keeping everyone back.
Hold the door?
He held the door. He helped Los Hombres de PACO at play, and he opens it right back up to let that ball in. Fantastic individual effort coming from the Canyons. 2-0 lead.
Very, very explosive start here from the Canyons. They've learned a thing or two from last game's aggression by the Los Hombres de PACO. They're trying to match that aggression. It seems to be working out for them. Mateos is back on the offense. Great bounce off by Demenza. Doesn't quite find the success that he was looking for, but now Zamue trying to lead the ball alongside Tox. Bounce it over by Mateos, but Demenza's already airborne. Tox rebounds, and Zamue is ready on the offense. He needs to boost.
Yeah, no, he didn't have the confidence to go for that first one. He was going to wait for the touch to try to intercept it away from the corner, and it actually did pay dividends. This is, some offensive pressure being put out there. They're trying to draw out the boost, draw out the resources, force unnecessary commits, and open the door for shots like that. Zamue makes it a 3-0 lead.
Actually, I wasn't even paying attention. How did that shot happen?
It was sort of a waterfall setup, actually, as you can see, bouncing right off that ceiling and straight into the net. Very, very filthy.
It was actually very well played. Nicely played by Zamue there. Let's see if he can pull that one again, but I really doubt it because what is it, PACO stepping at the defense. 3-0 though. They need to score a lot of goals before they can come back or even dream of an overtime scenario against the Canyons, who have their pedal to the metal and they're not intending of letting it go by any means.
Nearly. The goal right there. I mean, it looked accurate enough, but the defense able to hold on. Unfortunately for Los Hombres de PACO, they're having to keep so many people in the box right now just because of how relentless the Canyons are being, how brazen really the Canyons are being with just shot after shot after shot. Now, a quick counterattack can turn the momentum right back around, but the Canyons just aren't giving that breathing room at the moment. Pass to Demenza is connected upon, but the third man by Mateos, he didn't really come screaming down that corridor like I was hoping to see, and now Canyons have an opportunity of themselves. Shot by Tox, forced to be saved by Demenza.
To be honest, I felt like a two-man play setup, but Nachito just didn't have enough boost to keep airborne. So that play had to stop right then and there. Now, nice demo coming in from Zamue as well. He's trying to regain control of the ball, sets it in the field, is in the mid, passes it over to Tox, who cuts it off and tries to get it airborne. Zamue sets it up, clicks Demenza away from the fight, and now they're back on the orange side.
Tox trying to set himself up. He chose the pass back, gets the bump, but no one was there to catch it. You can see the rest of the Canyons all the way back at their own goal right there. That's a little bit of a miscue. I think Zamue got a better pass than perhaps even he was expecting. That said, though, it does buy more time, or rather takes more time off of that clock, as the Canyons still holding on to that 3-0 lead. Very much in control. Demenza has a chance, doesn't get the next touch, but he might not need it. That ball dangerously close to being one of the slowest goals we've seen today.
That was a very awkward ball and a very awkward scenario to put yourself in. Now Tox tries to set up for Zamue, but immediately Nachito is on the defense by Mateos as well. Bounce on the offense. Stake airborne touches it to try and set it up for the rest of the squad of the Canyons, but Los Hombres de PACO swift on the defense. Still 3 goals down and 1 minute and a half left.
Oh, great pass. If Tox is a little bit faster, that's a goal right there. But I like how the Canyons are still looking for more goals. They're still looking to keep the Los Hombres de Pacos on that back foot and keep them in their own box, if, not running up the scoreline as is. Zamue going to try and get that bang, but that's a very tight intercept, unfortunately, by Mateos. Doesn't make the correct read, so the Canyons continue to push forward. Zamue gets challenged and loses to Nachito, and that's a huge dunk. Nachito going to catch it and is going to look to set up his team. Where's the shot? It's going to come from by Mateos, but Tox does enough to disrupt it.
All right, Demenza now back on the offense, or back on the defense in this case for Los Hombres de PACO. They can't find the success they were finding in Game 3. Demenza tries to fly in with the ball, but they're not on the same page again. They're not finding the tandem plays, and Cheeto again low on the boost, can't keep up with the play.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately running out of time, it looks like, for Los Hombres de PACO. The extra aggression coming from the Canyon side, their willingness now to start throwing 2 and at times 3 cars just coming screaming down when they're looking to set plays up. It's just a bit too much for Los Hombres de PACO to handle. And we're starting to see, those similar faults that we saw specifically in the first game, where they're unable to get those big defensive clears and just sort of weaker touches on the ball, unfortunately. And that's going to be the difference in this series, as with only 10 seconds remaining, everything coming up Canyons.
Oh, everything coming up Canyons. 7 seconds left. 3-0. Could this be the game, set and match for the Canyons? 1 second left. Not even an honor goal coming in from Los Hombres de PACO as the Canyons try to get another goal in. It's going to be the 3-0 and another win for the Canyons. 3-1.
Yeah, Canyons again, just making it look so clean. Like at times, yeah, they were challenged, especially in game number 3 when Los Hombres de Paco were really matching the speed, were really getting to that ball and having their own tight offensive rotations, willing to throw everyone at it and keep no one back. That's the Los Hombres de Paco we're used to seeing. That's the Los Hombres de Paco that they had the most success on. But when game 4 rolled around, it was just 3 quick goals essentially out of the Canyons, sort of punishing that over aggressive play with
Yeah.
aggressive play of their own, aggressive positioning of their own. And once the Canyons played Los Hombres game and beat them at it, I kind of felt like the series was over.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like entering game 4, this best of 5 series, just felt like Los Hombres de Paco were out of steam. They felt tired almost. And once those 3 goals came in, that kind of humbled them to the point that they were just like, okay, let's try to defend our way into an optimal position to scale, kind of,
Yeah.
to try to ride the momentum back again. But Uno
Here,
reverse card, it was the Kenyans that were riding that
yeah.
momentum super hard.
And we saw something similar from the Canyons when they played against EC4 back in our like first day of this league. If you beat the Canyons, that's sort of like unlocking their next stage. Like you beat level 1, now you're at level 2 Canyons.
Yeah.
And I'm scared to see what happens if we ever see like a level 3 or even a level 4 Canyons. You know, if you take them to that big 4th game in the
Take him to
postseason, you
game
want
5 in the playoffs, and we'll see that
take
the
them to
top
game
level
7
Kenyan.
in the playoffs.
Oh,
What would
baby.
that look like?
I don't
Exactly. I
know.
mean, no team seems to bounce back and adapt quite like the Canyons. That's why they are the best team. They've taken out really one of the other 2 big favorites right now in Los Hombres de Pacos, and in their eyes, I imagine it's just super mode in their sights.
All right, so we're gonna have an interview with Steak actually today, from the Canyons after this 3-1 victory against Los Hombres de Paco. Steak, how are you doing, man? Congratulations on your win.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, dude. So, 3-1 victory. It looked clean. You were really tight on the offense, but what happened in game 3 that Los Hombres de Paco just seemed to get a little click on their game style and managed to take one from you?
Like when we got like the first 2 games, we just like started playing less focus, I guess. So they started playing good, and they got us on the offense.
Yep. Now I've noticed actually that's twice I've seen from the Canyons where in a series they've dropped a game, or you guys have dropped a game, I should say, and then almost bounced back twice as hard in the ensuing game. Like you guys, your ability to mentally reset is absolutely phenomenal. Is that something that you take pride on? Is that something you practice, or does it just come naturally when you consider yourself a favorites in a tournament like this?
Like we have worked with the mentality like since we started teaming up. Like we have a coach that is a Yobi, and also there is a on the Discord called Wolf that is like the sub and assistant coach. So every game we lose, we just like have a talk the minute we have and focus and we do a mental reset.
Pretty impressive, actually. What about this new sub that came in from for the team of Los Hombres de Paco by Mateos? Do you think that he was a bigger challenge to deal with?
Like I know Mateus for a long time. He's a very close friend from me, and I know he's very good. Like maybe he didn't show up that much this series, but
Mhm.
like for sure he will like show up in the other series.
Okay, but I also then have to ask, would we have been seeing a different result, I suppose, if Kia had been playing in this one as opposed to by Mateus? Do you still think the game would have gone the exact way that it had? Would you have changed your own strategies to sort of adapt to Kia Monster's playstyle? Or does it just not matter? No matter what Canyons, they're just going to win everything?
Like I think it doesn't matter. We would have won anyway. I think.
Excellent.
All right,
I,
bold words
I
here
love the
from Steak.
confidence.
I know. I mean, they've already proved for 3 days in a row that they put their money where their mouth is, and they take game after game after game. Thank you so much, Steak, for joining us for this interview. Good luck tomorrow on your series as well against who is it going to be
Dude,
against? Against
dude,
For the Win. You
yeah.
know what? No, I'm not going to wish you good luck. I want For the Win to win though.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
Damn.
oh crap! Like, you can't be
Whoa.
biased. Oh, what do you mean? No bias here, but good luck anyway.
AC's from Portugal, by the way, just letting you know. Just passing that on. Don't take it personally.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, well, that being said, however, congratulations to the Canadians for their 3rd win in a row. We're going to take a short break before we head into our last series of today. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you.